Uko kuno aho pano mamuona kere nice ano vura meso ano vura zebe ano kaya marigi kama kweto tikom kweto tikom usasai kama kwe ano kaya marigi
kamba kwe uyo ano tara mari ano kaya mari garai mamunzu paninya pano.
Right, 26 September 2022, and today I am back with another amazing millionaire story. Zimbabwe is full of millionaires, people who have done very, very well for themselves financially, and these people are always in the news. And the person that is in the news today is not an ordinary person. He is one of the most prominent young Zimbabweans, former president of the AAG, and I can say someone that you don't expect to be arrested the way he was arrested today. According to news reports, and this was first published by ZimLive, he was resisting arrest because police came to his house and they were trying to take him out by force until the CID had to come and take him out, of course, by force. So this is Max Mumbai, and one of the guys that obviously hangs around with people like Prophet Passion Java. And you know that these guys are at the center of the campaign of President Mnangagwa. In fact, Prophet Passion Java, you can often see him every time he's in Zimbabwe. He gets to take a photo or two with President Mnangagwa. And Mike Chimombe, AAG, he totally transformed it during the time when he was at the helm. And AAG became an international organization with branches in South Africa, UK, United States. So these guys, they're not ordinary. If you see the way that Prophet Passion Java operates, you just go online and see him when he's marketing ZANU PF and President Mnangagwa's projects. You understand what I mean. These guys are extremely good at what they do. They're a new crop in ZANU PF that has never been seen. ZANU PF has never seen the kind of youngsters that have come, especially over the past 2 years. You can see that ZANU PF has totally transformed. The social media strategy of ZANU PF has totally transformed. Now, the question is, why would such a person be arrested and in such a publicly humiliating manner as the way that Mike Chimombe was arrested? And the publication in ZimLive, which many people have said is linked to Zimbabwe intelligence. So that newspaper already, according to information that is publicly available, is linked to Zimbabwe intelligence. So obviously they leaked the information to themselves. Why would they do that? And this is the issue that I want us to discuss. I want to, first of all, go through the facts. Then I want to go deeper into the issue, deeper to what could be happening behind the scenes. Is this a political arrest? And if so, why would there be a political arrest? Who is going to be arrested next? That is the question. Remember, there is a list. There's a list at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. We talked about it a few months ago. You should go to the last interview I had with Mr. Tinashe Jonasi. There is a list that has been put out. And this list is a list of people that need to be arrested. So let's go through the facts and let me then say what I think is happening here. Let's start with who Mike Chimombe is. Mike Chimombe, very prominent businessman, lawyer, and obviously former AAG president. He has a very, very interesting family, very big family. I like the pictures that they take. And it would be very sad if he was to be thrown into jail. And obviously, he's a very flamboyant young man. You remember the picture that he took when he went to President Mnangagwa's office when he was wearing those torn jeans. So he is a very, very flamboyant young man. And I told you when we were talking about Wajajena's arrest, that we have a new crop of young Zimbabweans that are entrepreneurial. So in Zimbabwe, we lack entrepreneurship. People in Zimbabwe are not entrepreneurial. They are used to working. So these youngsters that are in business, they are not people that we should destroy. We should, in fact, be building them up. That is my view on this. But as I was saying, he is a young lawyer or legal practitioner, or in the past he was, and he's a business person. He's also a cousin to Philip Chiangwa, according to information online. So he is a cousin, or Mzukuru, as you would call in Shona. So why would such a person be arrested? One, without being able to call his uncle Philip, without being able to call the president. And why would they arrest him when the president is outside the country? Is it political or not? So obviously I have to think deeper and I have to look wider. And yes, indeed, I think this is a political arrest. Why do I say so? Remember the issue of Wajajena. That was a 2020 case. This case is a 2020 case. It's a case from the past. It's got nothing to do with, it's not urgent. Like if someone did something in 2020, you don't have to arrest them today at 3 a.m. There's no need for it. You could, and in fact, in South Africa here, you don't get arrested for such crimes. They only arrest you if they want to humiliate you. So you don't get arrested for swindling someone of a residential stand. That is a civil court. A case, someone must go to court and they get it sorted out over there. So it's clear. This is a political case. Someone waited for President Mnangagwa to be outside the country, and then they wanted to arrest this young guy. For what reason, I do not know. But remember that AAG has found themselves at the center of the campaign for President Mnangagwa's 2023 re-election. They did so much to the extent that some guys became uncomfortable within ZANU PF about the rise of the AAG. And it's clear to me that there are some people who are very, very uncomfortable with Max Mumbai, with the AAG and the role that they play around President Mnangagwa. I want to specifically look at the role that Prophet Passion Java has played. And also Mike, remember, Prophet Passion Java was the vice president of AAG, was the second vice president, and there was the president, obviously, Max Mumbai. So these young guys, when they came on the scene, they disrupted ZANU PF, they disrupted people around the presidents, they took over and they took charge. This is a problem to people that are ambitious and people that are uncomfortable with change. This is how I see this. There's some people that are very, very uncomfortable with change, and they do not want ZANU PF and they do not want the presidents to transform and to start speaking to young and ordinary Zimbabweans. The current president, as we speak, is speaking directly to youngsters, is speaking directly to young Zimbabweans. There is no president right now in Zimbabwe who has ever been as engaging as President Mnangagwa has been, especially after he roped in these youngsters. And they go everywhere. There is no one that does not come close to the guys who are close to President Mnangagwa. You have seen Prophet Passion Java literally with everybody. And similarly, youngsters like Max Mumbai, they have transformed ZANU PF, and this is a new direction for Zimbabwe. If we continue in the direction that Zimbabwe is taking right now, you are going to see a transformed ZANU PF and a transformed Zimbabwe. But I also mentioned a few weeks ago that when you look at the communication coming out from around the president, you will see that the youngsters have been pushed out. So Java has been pushed out, Ejo has been pushed out, Chimombe has been pushed out. So all these guys that used to be very vocal around the president, most of the communication is no longer coming from them. It's almost as if someone said, guys, we now need to go back to our old serious face. These youngsters must depart. We don't want them around the president. And this is some of the things that I think are happening here, leading on to the 2023 election, which I think, in my view, is a mistake. you cannot change what has been working. You cannot change your winning team during the game. This is what is happening here. The young guys have been doing a good job. I look at the video that Passion Java did, Prophet Passion Java did of the Mbudzi roundabout. You pay millions to get someone to describe that thing for you the way he did. And this is what we need. We need someone who can take what the government is doing and articulate it to everybody. Because our Zimbabwean people, they like things from outside. They like things from other people. They like things from other countries. They like music from other countries. But they don't want to see the things that are around them. When I tell them that the Zimbabwean economy is booming, when I go to Zimbabwe, they deny it, they refuse. But it's clear that there is a very, very big change taking place in Zimbabwe. And this is what makes a lot of people uncomfortable. So I think this arrest is political. And obviously, to support this, go to the Herald website right now. You will not find this story covered there. Go to ZBC, you will not find it covered there. The police have issued a tweet. I'm sure you all saw this tweet that the police have issued this afternoon. And in this tweet, if you go to gambako.com, I've put it there. And I want to give you the facts, actually, of what is happening according to police. So according to police, Mike Chimombe is being arrested for the theft or for fraud, right? Let's say, and let me display this here so that you can see what I mean. He was arrested for fraud. And of course, I'm not police, and so I can't say whether they arrested him for a good reason or not, or whether they arrested him at the right time or not, or whether it makes sense or not. But to me, the ZRP confirms that arrest of Max Mumbai, 41, for fraudulent land deals, which occurred between August 2020 and December 2021 in Harare, where the complainant was duped of 69,000. The other suspects, Hemish Katsande, 33, and Stephen Chimombe, 33, were arrested in July 2022 and have already appeared in court, where the matter was remanded to 26 October 2022. I don't know if you cannot issue summons on such things, or whether you just have to arrest people at night in their houses and cause a scene. I don't think it makes sense here. This is a political arrest as far as I'm concerned. And I'll go back to what I said before. You cannot destroy the youngsters that are in ZANU PF. You want those youngsters to do well. You want youngsters in ZANU PF to be assigned to other youngsters outside. That if you're in ZANU PF, you do well. If you're in ZANU PF, you have access to resources. I was talking to someone this weekend, and they were saying, when I go to Zimbabwe, I see my brothers in work in government. They are struggling. And some of them have been in those positions for a very, very long time. It's not a good sign when it's like that. What you want is, you want people to do very, very well, so that you show that ZANU PF is the promise of the future. If you don't show that ZANU PF is the promise of the future, why should people vote for you in 2023? Except if you are one person that doesn't want the 2023 elections to do well, which obviously goes to what kind of a person has got enough power to cause an arrest when the president is outside the country. What kind of person is that? Like, when we put them in a matrix, where do they sit? If they are able to cause you to be arrested and strategically plan it, that you'll be arrested on the very day that the president is around. Because if I was Mike, I would have the president's number. And if someone wants to arrest me, I'll just pick my phone and phone him and say, President, and then that will be dealt with. But if I'm not able to reach the president, it's either I've done something and the access has been removed, or someone has made sure that at that very moment when I'm being arrested, there's no access and I'm not able to complain. I'm not able to reach my uncle Philip at the same time. I'm sure Philip would be able to. Philip has personally phoned me to complain about articles. He should be able to phone police and complain about his cousin being arrested. But there were some odd, strange posts that Yangwa posted a few days ago. I think it was on 14 September. And I was sitting with my guys and we're saying, what is Chiangwa saying here? And we're all baffled. And I want to play for you that video that Chiangwa put out. It's actually a very, very interesting video, which I could not understand. I did not understand if he was complaining about someone or if he was fighting someone. But I think let you judge for yourself this video. And I think I need to reshare this and not share this properly. So let's start again. Let's redo this whole process of sharing. I'm getting old here. I need to get out of media. I need to. I think I've got a few months, maybe a year or two before I quit, before I leave media fully, because I'm too old for this. Right? Let's play this video.
Yeah, boo. Good morning to you, everybody. I'm just reporting that I'm alive. If you thought I was dying, then I'll bury you first. If you thought you are against me, then you don't know. You are against the child of God. And I can tell you this, I'm not the guy to be against. You better be very careful when you start to think I'm a bad person. Why would you be the judge of humankind, God's creation? So I'm warning you, you and those friends of yours, to sit and say, oh, let us plot against him. Who are you? Who are you? They plotted against the Son of God. And then what happened? They could not find his body, man. Something happened, man. So plot against me at your own risk. And I can assure you, something is telling me the battle lines are drawn. And I'm going to win and walk all over you. Skip on your heads, you damn devils.
I don't know what this was about. Like, honestly, maybe we should ask Philip to tell us what is happening here. This was the strangest video I've ever seen. And obviously, there's a lot happening behind the scenes. And today, I don't want to talk about the third force at all. I won't even mention the word third force again from today. I've stopped talking about third force. So this is it. Let's see if he appears in court. Let's see what the court will say about this whole thing, or it will be one of those things that dies a natural death. Because I'm surprised that a newspaper like the Herald does not have this story. Let's see tomorrow if they're going to have it. If they don't have it, it means it's political. And if the ZBC has not carried this, it's political. It's even more political than I thought. There is a lot happening. And I think, as I said, this election is going to be very, very interesting and very, very defining. Because ZANU PF, if they fail to bring the youngsters to the front, they will lose. ZANU PF will be annihilated. Because ZANU PF is in power, they're in charge, they're everywhere. They need to bring the young people to the front. And I think President Mnangagwa has done great by bringing all these youngsters. And you saw the video that we posted this morning. President Mnangagwa said he's going to bring young people, skilled people from the diaspora to come and develop the country. Zimbabwe badly needs a new kind of thinking. The kind of thinking that we have in Zimbabwe now is old and archaic, and especially the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. If I was the president, I would transform that Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. I'll go to all these big parastatals and I make transformation there. Then I'll go into ZANU PF and I'll make changes there. I said to some ZANU PF guys at the head office when I went there, I was very, very impressed by the youngsters. But there are a lot of things I cannot tell you now that happened, that showed me that the old need to be put behind and the young need to be put at the front. There is a lot of issues that need to be solved, and they can be solved by new types of thinking, by younger people, by approaching Zimbabweans as customers. So you want Zimbabweans to buy ZANU PF. Why would I buy ZANU PF that is going to arrest me when I go in there? So Imagine Gambagwe. If you want Gambagwe to become a ZANU PF member, what do you have to do? Given a choice between CCC and ZANU PF, why should I become a ZANU PF member? What is the business case, or what is the value proposition for me to be there? This is what we need going into this election. ZANU PF is doing very, very well, but they need to deal with indigenization and business, which is the core of what these guys are trying to do. You need ZANU PF to produce so many millionaires that no one will have a question that ZANU PF is the place to be. And this is where I think this arrest is political, and something needs to be done about such things. You cannot arrest business people. In fact, arresting a business person is something that is so bad. Do you see most of our business guys are outside the country? If I was the president, this is what I would be doing. I want to see Makamba working in Zimbabwe. I want to see Strive working in Zimbabwe. I want to see Mawere working in Zimbabwe. I want everybody who is inspiring. I always see them here in Santon, working there, looking lost. They need to be back home, those guys, because they need to be contributing to our country. The time when I graduated, all those guys were in Zimbabwe. And we are lacking that strong business side. Too much politics in Zimbabwe. And we're lacking that business side that will develop our country, which is where these youngsters are. And I want to see Passion Java's company running in Zimbabwe. I want to see his church doing well there. I want to see all the youngsters that are out here wasting their time back in Zimbabwe. So when the president says, I'm going to get youngsters who are skilled to come to Zimbabwe and develop the country, we really want to see them. So imagine if you are going to see Gambako in Zimbabwe developing the country, how interesting that would be. That would be very, very interesting. So that is the kind of thing that we need, not all these arrests and going after people. Remember, I was heavily opposed against the arrest of Wajajena. Similarly, the arrest of Max Mumbai. Only the guys in CCC will be happy about this, but they don't get it because there's a deeper need in our country. And the deeper need is to change the way people think and to change the way we see ourselves. And that is where we need to focus, not on the politics or who is going to be voting and all those kind of things. That's not what we need to focus on. So I want to wrap this up. I said I want to say who's going to be arrested next. All right, I don't want to go without saying that. So if this is a political arrest, obviously you're going to see more people who are in President Mnangagwa's campaign being arrested, or more people who are closer, getting into more trouble or getting more exposure for things that they've done in the past, things that have got nothing to do with anything. Like, honestly, do you really think it makes sense to arrest Mike for 16,000? Do you see how the house that he's building is 3 stories? I know that there's some people who struggle to build a little square box, but this is not the kind of guy who's going to steal 16,000 from you. So honestly, that's not a case, especially when it happened in 2020, and already people are in court. So to me, it doesn't make sense. So obviously, if Mike can be arrested and Philip can't help him, probably Philip will probably get arrested, and Java would probably be in line to be arrested. I can imagine him in prison. That would be so scary for him. Right. I think I've covered it all. And I really enjoy this platform of talking to Zimbabweans. But I'm getting tired because it's not making money. I need to make money now. Like, I might have to leave media, as I said. And the other thing is, obviously, I've seen the beauty of Zimbabwe. A lot of nice things are happening in Zimbabwe. If you're in the diaspora, you should know this. People are not lying to you when they say things are happening in Zimbabwe. Things are happening in Zimbabwe. You just need to change the way you think and see yourself doing well in your own country. It's an amazing achievement if you were to go back to Zimbabwe and do well. Like, I really appreciate all these youngsters who are doing a lot in Zimbabwe. It's not easy to establish yourself, but once you're in there, You're going to do very, very well. You're going to love it. And I'm always with Senator Kalipani Pogen. He's enjoying himself ever since he went to Zimbabwe. He's been enjoying himself quite a lot. And I actually envy him, because when we were here, back in 2018, he was running his business here. And you remember when we had the Zimbabwe Diaspora Vote Coalition, all the political parties in Zimbabwe came together. And that was the first time I met Senator Kalipani Pogen. And he left everything here to go back to Zimbabwe. Similarly, Tinashe Jonasi has been in Zimbabwe for the past, I think I took him to the airport almost 8 months ago. It's an amazing transformation, and we want our young guys to do well. Zimbabweans are very, very smart, but they don't do well in their own country. That's the problem with Zimbabweans. Too political, too much focusing on other people to do things. You want Chamisa to go into office, and then you do things. Do things now. Don't wait for Chamisa. Chamisa has got his own problems that he wants to solve, not you. And you want the president to do everything. Even if there is water leaking from a tap, you want to phone the president to say, President, there's water leaking this side. People don't know how to take responsibility and take charge of the positions they've been given. How many ideas have the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe given, or the Minister of Finance, to solve the economic crisis? You want the president to do everything. That is the problem with our guys. And this is what I've been saying here, day in, day out. Right, Gambakwe is a bootlicker. Bootlicking who? About what? So you see, there's no bootlicking here. I've never met Mike. I don't know him, and I'll never meet him probably. I've met Prophet Java. He's a very nice guy. That's the one guy I can tell you. If you want to know a smart guy, that's Prophet Passion Java. Very, very smart. And in future, is going to do very, very well in Zimbabwe. You will see. Yeah, I can say, mark my word, he's one guy who really changed the way I think about prophets. And he's friends with everybody. Amazing. Now let's go to diaspora bond. You cannot arrest business people. Do you know business people? Okay, Farai, I want to explain to you. Business people, they think differently. They are not those people who sell at the growth point. One day when you run a business, you understand. There are things that you have to do when you're running a business that you cannot even dare to tell people. That is how running a business is. And I'm not talking about Zimbabweans only. The guys that you know who run huge companies, they're not as clean as you think. You can't arrest someone and say they're corrupt or they committed fraud. These are small, minor issues. A lot is happening behind the scenes. Sabata says, why do you support criminality? These guys are arrested because they've committed a crime. You have committed a crime yourself right now, today. Sabata, if I ask you how many crimes you've committed today, if you're in Zimbabwe West, you've money laundered, you've changed money on the black market, you probably bought petrol on the black market. There's so much crime that you're committing right now as you speak. And you probably you've paid money to get your driver's license. If I ask all the Zimbabweans how many have committed a crime, we'll arrest all of you. Do not try to be clean in public. Many of us Zimbabweans, we don't understand how business is conducted. And so let's just stop this thing of trying to paint everyone as ZANU PF as corrupt. ZANU PF guys are just normal guys. But when they start arresting each other and making each other look corrupt, then that's their problem. So we can't help them with that one. Right, I think we're sorted here. Comments taken, and I'll be back here tomorrow with Dr. Fedias Mteneri. Thank you very much for watching. And I've got very, very good news. And I'm going to be sharing more about what's happening with our projects in Zimbabwe. And if you're in the diaspora, keep your eyes open. Don't sleep on the job. You need to be back home. You need to be doing stuff there. Thank you very much, and good night, everyone.
Mama wanna get it, mama wanna get it nice. anovhura meso, anovhura nzeve, anogaya mari. Kama kwe.com, wengere.com, usasaire. Anogaya mari.
Kamba kwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa.